Okay, so maybe you're new to Kelowna, or maybe you're just unfamiliar with some of the different neighborhoods. But if you're looking for a great family neighborhood to grow your roots and want a brief overview of Kelowna's best family neighborhoods, I have you covered in this video. In this video, I'm gonna go over the top 6 family neighborhoods in Kelowna. And for a more detailed breakdown of each neighborhood, where I go into what makes each area unique, watch my neighborhood videos on my channel. Now, before we dive in, it's important that I explain the criteria I use to decide which neighborhoods made the cut. Also, while I've lived in Kelowna for 35 years, I've been selling real estate here since 2010, and consider myself an expert, it's important to note that this video is my personal and professional opinion, and some people may not 100% agree with me. That said, I promise to give you my honest opinion based on my personal experience and the past experience of my past clients as well. Now, to consider a neighborhood a good family neighborhood, I'm looking for certain criteria to be met, such as low crime, quality schools, as well as a variety of schools for different age levels, recreation such as parks and fitness facilities, low traffic and safe streets. This includes things like sidewalks and safe walkways, easy access to amenities such as grocery stores and pharmacies, and also accessibility to town. If you have kids, as you know, it usually means a lot of driving, which that can be either for sleepovers or sports or just weekend fun. But when you have kids, you're constantly on the move, so having a manageable commute is a big deal. Now, not all these neighborhoods nail it on this criteria list, but they all offer a ton for families looking to settle in. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's quit wasting time and get into the brief summary of Kelowna's 6 best family neighborhoods. Keep in mind these neighborhoods are in no particular order, and each has its own pros and cons. We'll start off this video with the neighborhood I'm currently living in and raising my family, North Glenmore. North Glenmore is one of Kelowna's best, more affordable family neighborhoods, with home prices usually on par with the average price point for Kelowna real estate. What makes North Glenmore a great family neighborhood is that there are plenty of schools and parks all within walking distance, no matter where you live in the neighborhood. North Glenmore is also safe, with low crime, while still only being roughly a 10-minute drive to 3 of Kelowna's main city centers, including downtown, the mall area, and the north end, where you'll find the big box stores like Costco and Home Depot. The nice thing is North Glenmore is far enough from downtown that you don't want to walk, but it's close enough that the drive is of literally no consequence at all. What I like about North Glenmore is that you can actually get pretty much everything you need without ever having to leave the neighborhood. And that's because there's a pretty decently sized strip mall containing multiple grocery stores, pharmacies, restaurants, banks, and even a dollar store. Okay, our next great family neighborhood is Wilden. Wilden is actually located up on the Glenmore Highlands just west of North Glenmore, and it's one of Kelowna's newest and fastest growing neighborhoods. Made up primarily of single-family residential homes, Wilden has safe streets and a real sense of community amongst neighbors. This is truly a place where you can just let the kids out to play and not have to worry about them at all. Wilden also, much like North Glenmore, is quite handy to town, and you're still only about a 10-minute drive, maybe marginally more, to reach the downtown core or Kelowna's north end, where you have access to those big box stores I already mentioned. The one downside to Wilden is that it is very car dependent though. While you're a very short drive to anything, you will still have to drive to get to where you want to go. That said, if you're looking for a quality family neighborhood and would like to build your next home, Wilden should be your first stop. It's also worth noting that it's within the Wilden community plans to start building a school and shopping center in upcoming years. Once those amenities are in place, it will make Wilden an even more desirable place than it already is. Next up, we have the Lower Mission. The best way to summarize the Lower Mission is to say it is absolutely Kelowna's best family neighborhood for amenities, but also a busier place to live than the other neighborhoods on this list. For amenities, you not only have the Okanagan Lakeshore running throughout the Lower Mission, but you also have high-end facilities like the H2O Aquatic Center, Capital News Fitness Center and Skating Rink, massive Mission Sports Field, and much more. In addition to this, the Lower Mission also offers the most number of schools for kids of all ages and plenty of shopping options. You literally have everything you need in this community without ever needing to leave. All of this comes at a cost though, of course. When you consider the age of the home you'll be buying here for the price, the Lower Mission commands a high dollar figure, even before considering lakefront properties, which will run you into the multiple millions of dollars to get into. One little perk about the Lower Mission that I should mention though is that the lots are some of the biggest that you'll find for any neighborhood that's relatively central to the city. The reason for this is much of the Lower Mission was originally designed to be on septic, but is now being converted over to sewer. And as you may or may not be aware, Homes that are built on septic require much larger lots. Because these homes are no longer on septic, you're left with a home on sewer with a much larger lot than you can find in most any other neighborhood in Kelowna. Win. Next, let's talk about the Upper Mission and Kettle Valley. Now, if you aren't familiar with Kelowna and you're up in the area, you might not realize that the Upper Mission and Kettle Valley are actually two different neighborhoods. But because these neighborhoods are located right next to each other on the south end of town, serviced by the same amenities and roads, and typically very comparable in price, I'm gonna combine them here for you for a 2-for-1 special and call it the Upper Mission area. Now, the Upper Mission area is an area that I have to admit holds a special place in my heart because this is where I was raised throughout the majority of my youth. The streets up here are some of the quietest, safest streets you'll be able to find anywhere in town, and crime is virtually non-existent, given the neighborhood is well removed from the urban areas of town. Of course, the security comes with a cost, and that is the commute. The road system in and out of the Upper Mission is brutal. There are only 2 roads you can access to get in and out of the Upper Mission, and both of them go through school zones. Keep in mind this is also one of Kelowna's largest neighborhoods as well. This means if you're leaving for work at 9 a.m., you're gonna have to contend with all the other drivers doing the exact same thing at the exact same time, as well as everyone dropping off their kids to school. That aside, the Upper Mission, given its safety and family focus, is probably Kelowna's best family neighborhood. Chances are if you live up here, given the size of the neighborhood, most of your kids' friends will end up living in the neighborhood as well, which is nice because you can keep an eye on the kids, get to know their parents, and not have to drive them all over town. I should also point out that the Upper Mission is a favorite for people locating from out of town because it offers some of the best lakeview properties and plenty of them. The next neighborhood I'm going to mention is the smallest of the group, but encapsulates most of the best features of the other neighborhoods I've mentioned so far. That neighborhood is Crawford. Crawford offers quiet streets, very large lots, easy access to town, some lakeview properties, and very low crime. Located on the east bank from the Lower Mission and Upper Mission, Crawford is a little slice of family paradise all on its own. The lots here are some of the biggest you'll find anywhere in town, unless of course you're looking for acreages, and are usually between a half acre to a full acre in size. Most of the homes here are on the older side and built in the 1980s, and there hasn't really been much for new construction in a while up here. So if you want a safe neighborhood but don't want to be in an older home, then you might be better off to look in, say, the Upper Mission or Wilden. That said, there are some newer homes in Crawford and some beautifully renovated older homes. However, if you're looking for a newer or renovated home in Crawford, then be prepared to pay top dollar. Because what you see on paper and what you see through experience are two very different things. When you compare the average house price of a Crawford home to, say, the Upper Mission or Wilden, it may appear like Crawford is slightly cheaper, but keep in mind you'll be paying close to the same price for a more dated 1980s home in Crawford as you will for a home built in 2010 or newer in these other neighborhoods that I mentioned. But the lot sizes, I mean, you basically get your own park up here. Okay, so let's say you want to be in a great family neighborhood that is central but still has a suburban feel. Well, our last neighborhood, Dilworth, is perfect for you. Dilworth is a community located on, drumroll, Dilworth Mountain, believe it or not, right smack dab in the middle-ish of town. I say middle-ish because geographically speaking, Dilworth is very central, but not surrounded by urban centers as much as the word central might suggest. When you're living in Dilworth, you feel like you're removed from town, but you're literally less than a 5-minute drive to Orchard Park Mall, Costco, the Superstore, and hundreds of other restaurants and stores. Dilworth is a smaller neighborhood as well, and while it doesn't have its own school or shopping area, it's so closely located to town and the North Glenmore shopping area that you could argue it's probably better accessible to amenities than any other family neighborhood in town. And you might just win that argument. That said, some people don't like having to contend with the steeper roads. The walkability factor here is quite low as well, as between many of the streets not having adequate sidewalks and cars driving up and down hills and around corners, it's not super kid-friendly in that way. That said, Dilworth has plenty of outdoor space for the kids to run around and has a great family park that even has a skating rink in the winter months. Okay, so that's your brief introduction to what I consider to be Kelowna's best family neighborhoods based on my personal experience and what has worked for my past clients. For more detail on these neighborhoods, please watch my other videos where I take a more deep dive look into what I consider makes these communities unique. I also want to remind you that this is not an exhaustive list of family neighborhoods, and depending on what your criteria might be, these places might not be the right fit for you. So if you have any questions regarding what would be a great family neighborhood for your personal needs, I want to encourage you to reach out to me and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions. Thanks again for watching my video. I hope I provided you some value today, and once again, if I can be of any help to you in your move, I'd love to hear from you. You can contact me either by commenting on this video or reaching out through email or phone anytime. Text is usually best. Until next time, have a great day.